situation with Luka's hamstring?
We'll do an MRI tomorrow, left hamstring. We'll know more tomorrow.
When it comes out just the beginning of that game, the intensity Oklahoma City brought, what do you think was the immediate moment in the game that kind of just...
I don't know that there was an immediate moment. I thought when the game started, we frankly had unforced turnovers. They had a lot more shots on goal to start the game. They made Lou Dort, coming out making threes was big. We settled in offensively in the second quarter, but just could never really get it going defensively for us. And that was on a night when, Shea played 30 minutes and took 25 shots and scored 28 points, did a good job of not keeping him off the free throw line. But, he's going to get his, and those other guys, they made a lot of threes. And then the turnovers, obviously they killed us, and we were, better in the second half. But the 8 turnovers in the first quarter really hurt us.
Came back, obviously, but what kind of update do you have on how he's doing?
He was in a weird position, stretching for a basketball, loose ball, and just felt something like intercostal, somewhere in his back, in between the ribs. He was able to play through it and battle back, but we'll see how he feels tomorrow.
I don't know if you got to talk to Luka, but just kind of how are his spirits if you were able to talk to him after he left?
I haven't spoken, other than words of encouragement.
Mentioned that Luka's going to have a MRI tomorrow. Noticed that he was grabbing at the hamstring. I think it was late in the first half. Did he say anything about that, or was that picked up?
Oh yeah, we checked him out. He got work done. He was cleared. I mean, we're not going to put a player at risk. Those things happen.
JJ, what is sort of an understanding that you guys aren't going to put players at risk? You have guys that want to be out there, want to play, want to compete, particularly, I would imagine, in a game like this. As you see these guys getting banged up, like throughout the course of the night, is there a thought to maybe going for another day because of where you guys are at in the season?
Going for a Navy?
Day, sorry.
Going for another day.
Yeah, waiting. Like you said, Austin was grabbing at it in the first half, grabbed at it the second time he was out there. Is there a thought that it's maybe not worth it to play him tonight, considering you guys are 2 weeks away?
It was discussed at halftime. Thought we'd give those guys about 6 minutes, and then we were going to, if we didn't cut into the lead, we were going to pull them. And obviously it was around that time that I don't remember the exact time, but that happened.
Jake, we all know Luka's importance to the team. Just what's the kind of the emotions of seeing him pull up with an injury? Even if you'll wait to see what the result is and everything. But how do you take that as a teammate?
Yeah, it's something you never want to see as a teammate. Especially in a game like this, it was tough to see him go down. All the prayers for him. Hopefully, everything's good with him. But you never want to see that.
For the game itself, just all the early turnovers, and kind of you guys knew a little bit of what to expect, but where did you feel like the game started to go like it was going, and how did you feel like you were handled it?
Yeah, I spoke to you before the game, and I said we have to set the tone. I said we have to be the more physical team, and we got to play together. And we started off the game with a lot of turnovers, and they scored on pretty much every turnover. And we didn't execute the first play. I messed up the first play, which doesn't set the tone for the team. So, I got to be held accountable for that. And just obviously, didn't go our way at all tonight. The first game we've had, I feel like this in a long time. I feel like this was we spoke about it before, a test for us as far as, playing against the number one team. And, we had guys battling through and whatever it was, but we just got to focus on the next game and continue to keep our heads straight.
The game just ended, but were you guys able to talk it out or share anything amongst yourselves in the locker room afterwards, or was it?
Not really. We kind of probably all knew what it was pretty early on in that game on how we were playing and the execution on coverages and our defense and being able to execute offensively. Yeah.
Jake, obviously, you guys went down, like you talk about not executing there early in the game, but what specifically is it about this team that kind of, caused that disruption for the first time, in a couple of games or in a couple of weeks, their second time for you guys' second loss in a few weeks here?
Yeah, I mean, we know OKC's a very physical team. They play very handsy. JJ before the game talked about having, more poise than them. And again, when you start the game and, you don't execute offensively and you have those turnovers and they score off the turnovers and then the crowd's into it, early on. I mean, we kind of dug ourselves a hole that was pretty hard to get out of down 30 in the second quarter.
Jake, obviously, this is still ultimately 1 of 82. You'll have 5 more after this, but JJ did tell us that you mentioned that this is a test. He told us before the game that you guys will know what time it is, marquee game against the defending champs. Because of those factors, is there more weight to this loss compared to maybe if this was early in the season?
I mean, yes. Obviously, this close to the end of the season, we would have wanted it not to go that way. It was pretty much the same story, I feel like, the first time we played here this year. So obviously not the way we wanted it to go, but like I said, we still got 5 games left. 3 seed, that's where we're trying to stay at. So we're focused on just getting, the rest of these 5 games, 1 game at a time, and just continue to make that playoff push.
Is there any comfort knowing that you do have as much time as you could have, I suppose?
Well, I mean, it's never a time to get comfortable in this league. The only thing we do know is that we won't be in the playoff, to play in. So we have that week, but I mean, health is wealth. I mean, obviously, and like I said, we're already out with Marcus right now, and now Luka. We don't know what the timetable is, but obviously, we'll see what happens.
Mark Daigneault referred to the idea of, last year you guys came here, you beat them pretty handily in the first of 2 games, and he said sometimes it's good to get bloodied so you can respond. How do you internalize a loss like this, knowing that you guys play them in a few days as well?
Obviously our mindset should be about Dallas and not OKC. That's our next matchup, and then we'll get to them. But yeah, we understand. And know what they're capable of, and they beat the shit out of us tonight, obviously from the start. And so when we get to that point, we'll address that. But we have another game on this road trip.
Part of you guys' success post All-Star game has been taking care of the basketball. What do they do that make it so tough to?
They just have multiple. They have multiple wing defenders, multiple guys that can get up in the ball. They try to speed you up as much as they can. They got great hands. They got great length. And it's hard versus a team like that when you're giving them pick sixes. I think we had 8 turnovers for 14 points, like in the first 6 minutes, 7 minutes of the game. No, that's the game right there.
You knew what to expect, obviously, with the way that they play. Is there a difference between, when you haven't seen a team that's capable of that level of ball pressure for a little while? Do you expect?
Sometimes it takes a little bit to get adjusted to, when you haven't played a team like that in a while. But we've had some teams that kind of put the pressure on you, not to that capacity to have so many. I mean, and they were still without AC as well. Another one of those pesky, wing defenders that can, heckle the ball. So, but they did a great job. Obviously, they're defending champs, and we respect them nonetheless. We just didn't, combat that.
You guys have been remarkably together over the last month. Is this where that gets tested?
No, nothing has changed. We still will be. Obviously, be tested. Obviously, with our, with the head of the snake. Obviously, don't want to make no conclusions, but we see what happens with him, and then we'll go from there. But nothing is rattled. It's one game. It's part of the NBA season. As defending champions, we get it. We understand.
If he misses some time, no matter what it is, what's the process for you to shift from the role you've been in to whatever the role would be asked of you while he's out?
I don't know what the role will be asked of me. I don't know. I mean, we have to see what that role will be. I've been in this one for a minute now, so it'll be an adjustment, but we'll see.
I went back to get a rebound, overextended a little bit, and I felt decent now, so we'll see.
What's the emotional challenge of seeing something like Luka at this stage of his season go down, even as you guys don't know, how long you'll be without him at this point? How do you guys handle that as a team?
Yeah, no, I mean, you wish for the best. Obviously, you don't want to see anybody, get hurt. But you just, hold on to some faith for the best news possible, and as I've gotten to know him the last year and a half, he's a competitor, so he'll do all he can do to put himself in a position to come back when he can.
Were you able to talk to him after the game?
Nah.
Austin, what happened to you on that rebound, and I guess how are you feeling now?
I just said I just overextended a little bit. I don't know what exactly happened, but got some treatment on it at halftime, and was able to play. So that's a good sign.
Well, you guys had, I think it was 8 turnovers in the first 7.5 minutes. So what were the factors that you saw that kind of led to that?
I did a poor job starting the game. I had a couple turnovers back to back, and I think I might have had 4 in that first quarter. I just got to do better, give ourselves a better opportunity to get to a better start.
JJ just talked about kind of wanting to exercise the playoff mentality at this point in the season. What kind of improvement do you guys need to make going forward for these last 5 games in terms of making sure you're tapping into that playoff mentality even before the playoffs start?
Just continuing to do what we have been doing. I feel like we've been really good recently. Tonight was obviously not what we wanted, but we don't need to overlook the fact that we've been playing good basketball, and what we're capable of. We'll watch film either tomorrow or Saturday and learn from this and move forward.
To your point, I think this is just the 3rd loss in the last 19 games. But JJ did tell us pregame that you guys know what time it is, marquee matchup against the defending champs. How do you, I guess, kind of square that away when you guys have been playing as well recently, but it is still a loss to a team like this at this point in the season?
They beat the shit out of us, but they're the defending champs. We've got to, be better. I don't know. I mean, losing always sucks. It don't matter if you lose by 1 or 50. A loss is a loss. It's kind of how I look at it.